Well, I'm the project coordinator for the Let's Get Out scheme in Cardiff and the Vale, and we work with anybody over the age of 50 plus that is finding it hard for whatever reason, be it physical, be it emotional reasons, to get out of the house. So Caroline was referred by the community resource team, and initially they realised that she was too young for them. So I came along and met Caroline, and we had a chat about what's brought her to the place that she's in now, so how she became ill, the amount of time she spent in hospital, and what it was that she'd like to do. We found very quickly, with a stroke of luck, they volunteered, and I brought Sandra along to visit Caroline. Sandra knew how far to encourage her, and I think Caroline had trust in Sandra right from the beginning, that she wasn't never going to ask her to do something that was going to be way outside her capabilities. Sandra was putting a lot of input in the beginning. She would pick Caroline up from the flat door, take her down to the car, and then it's kind of working backwards from that. She would meet her downstairs instead of coming up to the 2 flights. It was a step in progress in that way that she could reach some goals. We knew we had to help Caroline progress to a stage where she could do stuff on her own.
Well, I lived here on my own, and that was out of choice. I like living here on my own. It's a 3-storey building, so you've got ground first, top floor. I live on the top floor. We had a very stressful year last year because we had a lot of interaction with solicitors because the land came up for sale. So we bought the land. My initial plan was to put the flat up for sale and hopefully make some money. And of course my plans just went haywire because I had this hemorrhage and that was it. Bang. I've got short-term memory loss. I can remember what happened donkeys years ago in ridiculous detail, but I struggle to remember what I did or said 5 minutes ago. Apart from the memory, it's left me with balance problems, this hemorrhage. Everybody wrote me off. They didn't think I would last 5 minutes back home on my own. And to be honest, in the early days, I was inclined to agree with them. I was, honestly, because I thought, I see what they mean now. I didn't realise it was going to be such a struggle. I didn't go outside the door for 6 weeks. People said, well, you could move to a ground floor, but I've never wanted to live in a ground floor flat. Even though it's more practical, I like living upstairs. But now, of course, it's got its downside because I've got 28 stairs before I get to my own front door. So that's taken many months to be able to achieve that. Beforehand, I wasn't lacking in confidence, as you can probably tell. But this knocked me for 6. And not just physically, but mentally. It really has. Unless you're in this situation, it's very difficult to imagine how isolated you can feel. Beverly came. She took me out one afternoon, and then she said I didn't qualify because I wasn't old enough, and I was absolutely devastated when she said she wouldn't be coming back. She said, I do know of a different concern who cater for younger people, more your age, and that's when Debbie got in touch then. We had a chat, found out what I was like and what my problems were, and then a week or so later she brought Sandra to meet me. It sounds such a simple thing, for someone to sort of come and take you out. The first few times I went with her, I spent the whole 2 hours when I was out with her shaking. My brain would go all haywire and I couldn't think straight. And she'd say, you need stamps or you need to pay electric. And she would jog my memory. But you see, without her, I would have been absolutely lost. But normally, you see, because I knew she was coming on a Tuesday morning, I would write a list of where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. And I would say, right, I'd like to go blah, 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 blah. One day, she came round the door. Right, what are we doing today? And I went, blah, 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 blah. I said, why are you smiling? She said, she said, in 6 months, that's the first time you've told me where you want to go and you haven't looked at a piece of paper. That was a big day, actually. Although, you see, if it hadn't been for her, I would have missed it. But, she didn't just take me out. She encouraged, yes, reined me in when I got a little bit too adventurous. Sometimes we wouldn't go far. We would just go maybe somewhere and have a coffee. Baby steps. She didn't push me too far, but just enough to get out my comfort zone. But it was starting to get my normal life back. I was starting to not feel institutionalised. I've recently been to the shop on my own. There's a shop just next door but one. And that was a big, big thing for me to do on my own. She's made such a difference. And Debbie as well. But Sandra was the one who came on a week-on-week basis. And they've helped me fight my way back. And look at me now. Voila.